Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new episode of Random Review Squad. On this episode, we'll be looking at the CJ68. If you guys like videos like this, make sure to hit the like button and smash that subscribe button. It would be a great help. I want to give a huge shout out to Pantheon, also another local company, Pantheon Keys. Basically, they sponsored the key switches for this build, the Aqua Kings V3, and they were amazing. Now, let's get to it. So let's talk about the keyboard real quick. This is a 68 key keyboard kit with Hotswap sockets. It's got Bluetooth, and landing pad says is a great entry-level build on a budget. It is definitely a budget keyboard at about 94 SGD, and basically you can add on assembly and stabilizer tuning for a few more dollars. It comes with white plastic or ABS casing. It's got an aluminium plate. It's got north-facing per key RGB and hot swap, of course, with Bluetooth 5.0, and it also came with Everglide Panda stabilizers. Of course, as you can see, it has 2 feet, 2 levels of height that you can adjust to, and they're all rubber padded, of course. You got the whole macros, or all the macros that you need to control the keyboard on the back of the keyboard, and you also have a quick and easy switch to switch between the Bluetooth version or Bluetooth mode and the wired mode. Of course, personally, I always prefer the wired mode because, you know, we like nice wires, or just one wire on the table. Of course, the keyboard also came with a USB cable and a keycap puller and a switch puller. So those are pretty standard in everything. They also do mention that you should tune the stabilizers, but I didn't really need to tune them because when I tried tuning them, they were already okay, so there was no tuning done. I did manage to open up the keyboard, but I mean, I was expecting to see what I saw, right? Basically, it was just a simple lithium-ion battery taped down to the bottom of the case, connected to the back of the PCB to provide that wireless experience. Now, let's talk about the gems of this keyboard build, the Aqua Kings V3. Now, they've had a bad history of having a lot of spring ping. Basically, that's when you press the key switch and release it, you hear the spring pinging. These ones were not exactly that bad. I had about 80 switches, and out of 80 of them, I think about 28 of them had spring ping. So I just opened it up to see what they were inside or what had happened inside. The stem was factory lubed, right? So these were supposed to be factory lubed. The stems were factory lubed, but the springs were actually bone dry. So I had to open all the switches up and lube them again. I wiped them down, of course, before I lubed them, and then I lubed them with Krytox 205 grade 0. After that, it was, or in fact, it sounded amazing after that. So here's a quick sound test. Yeah, so I hope you guys actually heard the difference from the factory lubed spring ping switches and the ones lubed by me without the spring ping. Let's move on to the stabilizers. Now, the stabilizers are Everglide stabilizers, plate stabilizers, of course. So they didn't really require tuning, so I just went ahead and lubed them. Krytox 205 grade 0 for the housings and the stems, and of course dielectric grease for the wires. And I tested them, I tried them on, put them on the keyboard. Really stable, no wobble. Spacebar was great. Was happy to carry on with the build. Now, I do want to talk a bit more about the Aqua Kings V3. So the Aqua Kings are actually 62 gram. These ones are 62 grams. They have a 55 gram and a 67 gram variant, if I'm not wrong. And they have a 5-pin PCB mount pins, of course. They are a linear switch. They have 4mm travel distance. gold plated stainless steel springs, which were of course bone dry when they came, clear polycarbonate top and bottom housings, which are really tight, and of course the descriptions claim to be factory lube, but I would really suggest that you guys open it up and lube it yourself so that it's more even, and you of course can match your preference of the lube that you want. So you can actually get them off the Pantheon Key site for I think about $8 or $9 for 10 pieces. So you guys can go and check it out there. Once again, shout out to Pantheon Keys for sending me these key switches. Now the keycaps are just a regular PVT laser etched keycaps with the cherry profile from Carousel. Bought them in Carousel for about I think $40 or $50. Of course, for the RGB fans out there, this keyboard does come with RGB, even though I'm not really a fan of RGB. But the RGBs do shine through amazingly through the completely transparent Aqua Kings V3, and the color really shines through the keycaps, or in fact around the keycaps, not really through the keycaps, right? So there is that option there. You can change the RGB with the macros below, so everything is on the back of the keyboard. Okay, so now the thing that we've all been waiting for, the sound test. Here we go. Right, that was a great sound test. It felt really smooth to type on. Linears, of course, my favorites. These are currently up there on the list for linears. I think they are better than tangerines actually. For me, that's a personal preference, right? You guys really have to try it out to really know what's your preference. I can't really say something's better than another because it's entirely based on my preference. And without the spring ping, lubed well, these key switches are really amazing. The Bluetooth was working fine. It was working really great. Some of the keyboards have issues with Bluetooth 5.0, but this one was fine. Basically, you press the FNQ, FNW, or FNE to change the Bluetooth profiles, and you can just quickly connect to them. Now, when putting in the switches, the PCB wasn't too slanted, so it was actually easier to put in the Hotswap switches. Some keyboards or budget keyboards actually have their PCB really slanted for some reason, and it's really hard to put in the key switches because the pins just always bend, right? Especially for the Aqua Kings. For the few times that I missed the holes or the pins kind of bent, when I tried to or unbend them, they would kind of break or they would cut into half, you know, because I was using a scissor for some reason. But usually it works, it's fine, you know. Other key switches don't really break into half. but these pins were a bit more softer for some reason. I actually did try to remap this. I couldn't find out what configurator to use, either VIA or QMK. Both didn't seem to detect the keyboard. There was no real reset on that board as well, because all the macros were already below. There was no instructions on the web page on Landingpad SG to actually, you know, kind of tell people on how they could reconfigure the keyboard. So I think my friend kind of found out later on that he could reconfigure it with some other configurator. Yeah, so he used this software called Carabiner to reconfigure the keys for his MacBook. Alright, so that's it for this review. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. And if you guys really like this review, do leave a like and smash that subscribe button. It will be a great help for me, and I will be working on more keyboard videos soon, and I have a few products to review as well. So until next time, I'm your host Thiru, and this is Random Reviews Squad.